How are you doing today? I wanted to demonstrate my Ghostbusters Proton Pack that I built for my friend. A lot of the items I obtained from GBFans website, Nick-A-Tron, and Multimedia Mayhem, and also some eBay sellers. As you can see on here that I try to make it as screen accurate as possible. A lot of the touches you'll see on it are the clipper connectors here, the Nicol hose. A lot of the knobs on here are actual aluminum knobs I obtained from sellers on GBFans. A real clippered valve, which really adds a nice touch to it. More clippered valves. These are not the movie accurate clipper valves, unfortunately, but also here, as you'll see, also these are real resistors on here to give it added nice realistic touch to it. On the pack itself, another realistic clipper valve, another clippered fitting, and some more clipper fittings here, and the banjo tips. These actually I got from the GBFans website. They're replicas, but they're just as good. They look way better than the originals. And all that. Actual aluminum clamp for the ribbon cable, which adds a nice touch to it also. So one of the features I incorporated into this kit was I wanted to make sure that it was really easy for my friend to use. So a lot of ideas I got off the GBFan website by browsing the forums, and one of the things I liked was an individual, he put the batteries for his pack in the booster tube, and so that's what I did here. I put the batteries in the booster tube, and this is your regular AA batteries, 8 sets, 8 of them, which gives you about 12 volt battery power, which is really nice. And another thing on this pack itself too is it has the GBFans Light Kit in it, the GBFans Soundcard in it, and a GBFans Light Kit for the pack itself. So all the electronics is off the GBFans website, which is really nice. And I wanted to make the pack sound really nice. I went through like a lot of different places trying to find some speakers I liked. You know, I was going to sit there and pull some speakers out, some used speaker boxes, but I could never find what I was looking for. And what I eventually did was I went to Parts Express, which is online, and they just basically sell a whole bunch of speaker parts. And I bought myself it's got like it's for a studio speaker kit that you can make your own speaker. So I made my own speaker. But you're supposed to mount those speakers in a studio speaker box. But what I did was I just basically cut a hole in the back of the pack here, as you can see, and I mounted my speaker back here. You can see that from the light. Let's see if we can get a good light view here. There we go. So I mounted my speaker back here, which is a 6-inch subwoofer, and the tweeter right there, which is nice. And another accessory I put on the pack itself too was the GB Soundcard has a auxiliary port for that you can play music through. Well, I put a auxiliary 3.5mm jack right there that I plugged into, and I'll demonstrate that a little bit later. These speakers since they were designed for studio speakers, they're actually hooked up to a crossover network that I have mounted in here also. So after I've kind of described a little bit of it, let's get to actually demonstrating this sucker. Okay. So one of the features, like I said, I liked was I seen somebody had put the on and off switch in the volume control knob as the crank knob, which is what I did. I put a potentiometer here. It has an on and off switch, and it's also the volume knob for the pack. So you can click it like this. It clicks it on, and it powers your pack up, which is nice. And then you can control your volume right here. So one of the things that was kind of cool was now you can see it's in the ready mode, and I'll show you the power up sequence of the pack here. So you see I'll flick the switch to power it on, and the way the switches work on here are on the gun itself is this is your power on switch for sound here. This is your Ghostbuster sound. On the off side here you have of course your activate switch for your fire. And this is for your vent light. And then you also have your, up here is a secondary fire with the GB Soundcard. And the gun lights also, and then the red button. So, let's power this baby on. You see how the Nick-A-Tron lights power on. It goes through the startup sequence. And start cycling. Let me put a little bit of volume on this sucker. Okay, here we go. This is kind of cool. And then you see the gun light cycling. This baby off. Let's see here, so we get a little bit better view of it. And then the fire effect from it. And I did set up the dip switches for the overload sequence on that sucker. And it's got the secondary fire up in here. Oh, sorry. Actually, that's the vent sound. Actually, if you don't have the vent light activated, then that just produces the vent sound, but now I'll produce the secondary fire, and that will go through the overload sequence also. And then of course the Ghostbusters Soundcard has the song included on it, so you can activate that by flipping the switch. So you got that. And then let me show you the overload sequence on the pack itself here, so you can see what that looks like. So I don't know if you noticed that the Nick-A-Tron lights are actually kind of like sped up during that sequence. And it also has the power up and power down sequence. You see it power down, and you see it power up, which is kind of cool. And then one last thing I wanted to show you was the designer of the sound card and the light kit. He wanted to simulate the rooftop scene. So if you actually hit the activate switch here, your lights come on your gun, but there's nothing on the pack. And then if you actually hit the fire button, it'll start the bar graph scrolling. And actually you can light up the little hat light here too. And so that way on the rooftop scene, when the bar graph was scrolling and you didn't hear the packs power up yet, and they go heat them up, and you just click the switch, boom, and it heats the pack up, which is kind of cool. So that's this. That's what I did here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me on my my YouTube thing here, and I'll answer them back. So let me shut this baby down. Power down. Oh, and one last thing I didn't get to describe to you actually was the whatchamacallit here. Let me show you how this thing works with Pandora. Like I said, I have it hooked up. And where's my Pandora at? I hit play. And this is playing through the Soundcard on there. So this is just if you kind of want to be jamming and chilling. The only disadvantage to this actually is there's no lights going on. You can actually turn the gun lights on and have the vent lights going, but then if you're to power it up, the power up sound is going to override the music, or power on with the music, but that's okay. So I hope you like this little demonstration. and enjoy.